Hi, my name's Mark, and in today's video I'll be showing you how I custom painted this Mandalorian helmet. This helmet was my first commission ever, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. So stay tuned for the entire painting process. Thanks. This project started when I was contacted by Mando Spartan on Instagram. He was looking for an orange helmet to match his orange plates that he already had. He sent me several pictures to use as reference and base my original design on. I used them for design reference as well as weathering reference later in the project. I made a sketch of this base helmet in Autodesk Sketchbook and then used that to build this color scheme as well as mark out where I wanted the damage to be. Once I sent that to him and had it approved, it was time to begin painting. Before I could paint though, certain issues with the helmet needed to be addressed. This base helmet was my old Din Djarin helmet that used to live on my mannequin. I painted it about 2 years ago, and there were a couple cosmetic blemishes in it, which is why I wanted to get rid of it. Notably, there were several paint drips on the back and side of the helmet that I needed to address with 600 grit sandpaper. Once they'd been addressed, I masked off the entire face of the helmet, the part that would be remaining chrome, and I gave a good coat of clear coat around the whole helmet. That way there'd be no paint reactions once further layers were added over top. This also sealed in the mask so that nothing leaked through onto the chrome. And I think it's pretty clean and it worked pretty well. So once that was done, it was time to start masking off all of the parts that I wanted to remain chrome with masking fluid. This allows me to add battle damage and give it a more realistic look. After the latex was added, a coat of gray primer was sprayed across the whole helmet. This would allow the orange paint to adhere properly, as well as be the gray on the mandibles and ears. After the gray was sprayed, I took a ball of masking tape that had been wadded up to create streaks in the primer. I noticed a similar method was used on his armor plates, and I wanted it to match as closely as possible. So I created little scratches throughout the entire helmet in the primer. I then did this later in the actual paint itself. Any areas that had masking fluid on them before got an additional outline in masking fluid. This would allow a little bit of gray to peek out through the orange, giving it a more realistic look, showing that the orange had been worn down through the gray. Then I masked off the mohawk stripe and the mandibles, and it was time to paint everything orange. allowed all of the paint to dry overnight, then I removed the masking tape. The client had specified that he wanted some bronze somewhere in the helmet, so the ears were painted bronze. The orange paint gave a bit more of a glossy look than I wanted for the helmet. So I took a Scotch-Brite pad across the entire helmet to give some scuffs and sort of dull down the shine. I think this gave it a really nice effect and even made some of the chrome areas look more realistic. I used a chrome paint pen to add even more metallic highlights in certain areas where I thought it would be worn down. I did the kill stripes by using a Boba Fett stencil that I cut out by hand to make the shapes a little different. I then transferred this over to tape and then painted it on by hand with black acrylic paint. Then it was time to add my first black wash to the helmet. I did this by adding a thin layer of black acrylic paint and removing it with a paper towel in select spots. This gives it a more dirty and worn look, and I think it's really important to completing this helmet. After the black wash, I did a series of oil paints to really darken some of the edges and add a more dirty look. I used a series of mustard colors, browns, ochres, and black to really give it a dirty, grungy look and give it a sort of a greasier look than you can achieve with acrylic paint. and after the oil wash, the helmet was done. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed this footage I got of it. If you like this video, please subscribe and check out another video. Also, I post pretty frequently on Instagram at MarkMarksMakes, and I post constant updates on all my projects, so check me out there too. Thanks.